Hello and welcome to another episode of TechHub.training. Today we'll be going over the SQL challenge called LOTR ledgers. LOTRs in Lord of the Rings. So pretty exciting. Let's go ahead and get to work. We'll be working in Access, but you could use a lot of different software to accomplish this SQL challenge, whatever you're most familiar with. Now Access is pretty easy because it is Microsoft. It also is easy because it'll help you create the queries with Query Wizard. We chose not to do that in this challenge, and we chose just to write SQL language. So for the first query, we're going to look for all transactions within the utilities category. So if the category is utilities and anything that occurred in April. So we said select the transaction ID, date, description, and amount, right, from the table here. And it is a little bit of a long name. That'll be helpful as well for when you have to work with multiple tables. Sometimes they'll have some funny names. And where the category is equal to the string utilities. And we use this right here. Sometimes you can use something like month, but for this, in this case, the best way to do it is date part, and you'll call it M for month, and then you'll take it from the date column right here using square brackets. What that does is it pulls from the date column the month part of it and tells it that it has a month in there, and we say, okay, that equals 4, right? 4 for April. And then we'll just go ahead and run this, and that'll show us that. So here are all the different amounts that we paid for utilities. And some of them are positive and some of them are negative. So some of them might be refunds, so that's something as well to look into. The next question is going to go ahead and ask us the total utility expenses, right? So those will be the negative amounts, right? Not the positives, as well, and kind of get all the transactions that are those utility expenses and divide them up by the description of each utility. So what we do is we say select description. We'll also select the sum of the amount, and we'll call that utility expense, right? From, again, the table. And where the amount is less than 0, and again, the category equals utilities. And then we'll group by description. So that'll sum it and group by description. So what'll happen is it'll sum it up for each description and show us the expenses by description. So what in the utility category are we paying for, and how much are we paying for each item? You know, how much are we paying for electricity, how much are we paying for water, et cetera, et cetera. And then we'll order it by, the sum amount to kind of get a feel for it. So let's see what goes on there when we run it. And so you'll notice that it's in descending order, yeah. And we can see that we have some interesting ones here, most likely because we are a movie production, right? Sorry, it's in descending order, actually. A little bit tricky because it's negatives, right? Query 3, we're going to be asking what our profitability each quarter is. So in this case, we don't need to worry a ton about category. We're just trying to find, how much money we spent in each quarter versus how much money we made in each quarter, right? So we'll sum the amount as total income, right? And then right here, we're selecting date part here, and we're calling it quarter, right? Now, interestingly, down here, we don't do group by quarter, even though we're calling it that, because these will be run before this select statement is run. And so these need to be told exactly what to group by and order by, and they don't know yet because this this select statement hasn't been run yet, so it doesn't know that quarter equals date part q date. It doesn't know that yet, so we have to give it the actual formula instead of just what we call it. So we pull it from the table, we group by, we order by. Okay, let's see what happens when we run this one. And that'll show us the total income. So it looks like the first and second quarters were pretty unprofitable for us in 2023, but later on we more than made up for that. So that is the solution to our LOTR Ledgers challenge. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. And happy coding out there.